Tom Cotton is head of infrastructure policy at the Road Haulage Association, and he's with us now. Good morning to you, Tom.
Good morning.
Thank you for enduring our sing-along.
No, you've highlighted a real and present problem for our members. Last year, or this year even, to a few weeks ago, there were more than 3,500 HGV cargo crime notifications to the National Vehicle Crime Intelligence Service, and that in its own right accounted for £81.5 million of goods that have been stolen. So it is a huge problem. We actually think that's the tip of the iceberg, but interestingly also, Department for Transport 4 years ago did a survey of lorry parking, and they actually identified the East of England at a utilisation rate of 97%, so that's well into critical. And so the Department of Transport themselves have actually identified this huge problem which has increased since 2010. And interestingly, in 2010, the utilisation rate was 80%. Last year, Highways England did their own lorry parking demand assessment, and the A14, Felixstowe, Harwich and that corridor again are at critical, but we have no movement, and it is really appalling that lorry drivers just don't have the right facilities to be able to stop safely and securely at. And quite clearly we've been lobbying government for the last 10 years to get some movement, and we would really need to see that movement happen now. The problem isn't going away, and it's actually getting worse.
We were hearing from a truck driver, Simon, earlier on, who was saying that years ago a lot of council car parks would be opened up in the evenings for trucks to park up safely, secure. They could go off and stretch their legs, go and spend some money in the cinema or in a restaurant or whatever. Those places have disappeared almost.
Yeah, it's a real travesty when you think toilet facilities being shut by local authorities, and we know of so many planning applications where people or organisations and businesses have put forward a planning application to local authorities to provide lorry parking, so no cost to local authorities. But those local authorities have refused the planning permission, which then forces truck drivers to stop in places where residents really don't want them. So what the RHA has been lobbying for many years is to have truck parks that are in places appropriate for the trucks, so next to warehouses and warehouse facilities where the trucks are in their own element and need to be, and not in other places where they may cause inconvenience to local residents. The facilities aspect is appalling as well. Female truck drivers account for a very small percentage of truck drivers, and yet the facilities for female truck drivers are not non-existent, but they are absolutely appalling. And the same for male lorry drivers as well. They aren't much better.
We're much better served on the continent, aren't we? I've driven in France and Germany and places like that a lot, and so many pull-over places for them.
Absolutely. On the A120, not in Suffolk but in Essex, there is actually a fantastic, very small parking facility, very much like the French Airs, and what we would like to see is more of those. There's the Lower Thames Crossing developments as well, and we understand that the Lower Thames Crossing development scheme has actually taken out the 80-space lorry parking facility that was there in Thurrock. Again, I know it's not in Suffolk, but it is massively overutilised, and there just isn't enough space. So we really need local authorities to approve these plans.
Truck drivers were given key worker status this year, reflecting on the work that they do to keep the nation fed and moving, and we had a lot of people clapping for the key workers, not just those in the hospitals and social care, but supermarket workers, truck drivers. If they are a key worker, should they be looked after better?
We certainly think so. All food, medicine, other essential goods in your listeners' homes, everything in their houses or flats has been delivered by road freight. And without it, the economy would grind to a halt. We have massive problem with trucks trying to access businesses. All business premises need collections and deliveries of all types of commercial vehicles, from massive heavy goods vehicles to vans. And without this access and these facilities, businesses are really going to suffer, and it's hard enough at the moment for business without having these additional problems put on top as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your time today. That's Tom Cotton, head of infrastructure policy at the Road Haulage Association. Many thanks for your time this morning.